Oh, Ian. Ian. Heinz ketchup is bad for you. Heinz ketchup is terrible. Heinz ketchup is...
White vinegar, that is it. It's bullshit. Stop eating that Heinz garbage. It's sugar. You might as well be drinking Kool-Aid.
Move the fuck out of Western Pennsylvania! We're leaving, Laurel! I love you, man, but you said some shit right there. God damn it, I will pour Heinz all over my body and wrestle you. I know it's shitty for you. I know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to send him into a spiral.
No static. No static. No static at all. No static at all.
Hi friends, Ian here. I just want to tell you that these next 3 episodes that we're going to have for No Sack at All are going to be a Taste of Pittsburgh series, a 3-part series where we're going to talk about different bands, interview some bands, interview a booker in Pittsburgh, and just talk about the scene. We're only going to be scratching the surface. There's so much going on in Pittsburgh now and in past, but I can only talk about so much. But you can even consider this a little 3-part season finale. Everything before this was, we'll call it season 1 of No Stack at All. David and I are going to be taking a couple weeks off to go on tour String Machine, build up some more episodes, and just kind of take a breather, maybe clean my apartment, maybe get into some healthy routines like walking every day. I don't know, but thanks so much for tuning in. We really hope you enjoy these Pittsburgh episodes, and we hope that you tune back in when we come back, because we will be back. And thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks Sweet Stack and the Earthwalk Collective for powering this thing. Let's get started. Like I said earlier, this is Volume 1 of the Taste of Pittsburgh series. A 3-part series where we're going to be talking about my hometown. Technically my hometown is Butler, but Pittsburgh's bigger and kind of cooler. So you know what we small town kids do. We just jump on the back of the bigger city. But anyway, I'm talking about Pittsburgh, and most of these bands that I'm talking about, I hope to interview at some point so we can dive deeper into what they're doing. But this is just my overview of stuff that I like, that I want to point out. And like I said earlier, I'm only scratching at the surface. There's so much more. So if you're a fan of something, or if you're in a band that I didn't talk about, please don't be upset. I love everything that's going on in Pittsburgh. This is just a taste. And like I said, we're doing 3 volumes. There'll be more volumes in the future, so it's all good. But I'm real excited about this episode. We have an interview from Silver Car Crash that I did a few weeks ago, talking about their new album Resource Body that was just released last week, April 6th. That was released on Crafted Sounds, which is a real cool tape label run by Connor Murray in Pittsburgh. A bunch of bands have released on that, and I'm going to be talking about a few in this episode. And we're also going to be talking about some songs off of Resource Body. But before we get into that, let's talk about some other Pittsburgh bands. First, I have Altar Boy, who just released their self-titled EP like a month ago on Crafted Sounds. I didn't get a chance to go to their release show or see them live yet. They actually played under a different name when they played with us with Fire is Motion at the Bushnell, but I didn't get to see that set because I threw out my back and I had to leave early. I guess it's kind of a reoccurring theme that I'm an old man and have to leave shows early. But the EP is only 4 tracks, so it's short, sweet, and to the point. They get their point across quickly. It's emo, it's catchy, the guitar tones and guitar work are really good, there's vocal layering, the mix is really well. They did this down in Sharpsburg at Very Tight Studios with Matt Very, who, holy shit, knows what he's doing. You can tell him and the vocalist Jake really worked hard on these vocals. What really strikes me with this album is lately I've been really liking when artists can grab 2 sounds or like 2 artists of old and mix those together really well, and that's what Altar Boy is doing for me. Like when I listen to this EP, I hear elements of Turnover's Peripheral Vision or elements of The Moon Is Down by Further Seems Forever. It's really cool, and just don't take my word for it. Listen to Witch's Blood and you'll hear that Further Seems Forever vibe I'm talking about. I'm telling you, that opening guitar riff and guitar tone would fit anywhere on The Moon Is Down. And listen to Silver Lake, the first single released off the EP, and the song that has that more poppier turnover vibe I was talking about. Great song, check it out.
Somewhere with you tonight, we can watch each other undress, maybe swim in a fountain or...
Now that's a catchy song, and while we're talking about catchy songs and talking about crafted sounds, let's talk about the Zells, formerly known as Denzel, and their tour tape they released last November. On it we have I Wanna Be Your Canary, a fuzzed out guitar driven track perfect for driving around in sunny weather or maybe skateboarding with some friends. Check it out. I've only seen the Zells once. It was actually in the backyard of Bossing Say through the door because there were so many people at their birthday party show. So it was kind of hard to see them, but they sounded great. But fun story, the drummer let me borrow his floor tom because for String Machine, when I'm not playing trumpet, I like to bang on the floor tom, and I was dancing around doing my thing, and I just busted right through it first song. I didn't even get to play it for anything else. I kind of just set it down, looked at Nicky T, my drummer in String Machine, and was like, I fucking broke this drum head, man, don't know what to do. Told the guy, he was totally cool with it, said it was bound to happen. He hadn't changed it since he put it on a couple years ago or whatever, so it was all good. But I know for a fact that the Zells are going to be playing with me and War Park and some other bands up in Butler in June, which is down the line. We'll talk about it, but we might have to sacrifice a floor tom drum head at that show. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, listen to Soft Reset, which has a real nice slide guitar in it. Man, the Zells are making some real nice garage rock out of Pittsburgh. Give it a listen. And now we're going to get away from crafted sounds for a little bit and talk about another record label, Wild Kindness Records. Well, not really another label. We'll be talking about them during the whole volume, but a band on Wild Kindness Records, which is Rave Ami, formerly known as Honey, which String Machine just played their name change show with Astrology Now, I believe they're called, at Spirit Lodge, which was my first time ever playing Spirit Lodge, which is a real cool venue down in Lawrenceville. But Rave Ami is some real cool indie rock, garage rock. Honey was doing the same thing, but I think they're going to be getting a little more experimental doing some things. Again, I missed their set because I'm an old man and had to go to bed and go to work, but I was at that show, I swear. But give them a listen. We're going to be listening to the song Blue Narcissist. I'm real excited what these guys are going to be doing in the future. If you want more music, there's another song released with that one on their Bandcamp, and you can still listen to all the old Honey stuff. They're just a new name now. But to jump ship a little bit to a band that's not on a label, and that I just saw live with Cerulean Blue at Howlers a few months ago, Plastic Idea. I've only seen these guys once. Real cool dark guitar tones, more rock and roll, female fronted, kind of like theatrical style vocals. I could keep talking about it, but it might be better for you just to listen to the song Held. I think that song describes all the vibes I was just talking about. That song was called Held, and it's the last track on their EP called Demo.N.Stration that was released March 1st, so it's brand spanking new. And if you like it, go check out their Bandcamp and name your own price, so go pick it up and listen. Now, not to take anything away or give anything away from the Silver Car Crash interview, but when I was talking to the guys about what they play, Connor said he's originally a drummer. He's one of the guitarists and singers in the band, but he was originally a drummer. And when I was doing my research to talk about bands for this volume series, I saw that he recorded drums for Jack Swing's 2016 EP, Cloud Cover, which is another 4-track EP, just nice bluesy, indie rock stuff, guitar solos. It's rock and roll. Listen to the song Hazy Days and you'll get that vibe completely. Let's see, I saw Jack Swing live only once, and it was at the Mixtape Festival at Roboto Project last fall. That was a little festival where each band, I think they had like 10 or 12 bands, and you got 10 minutes to play. So I think String Machine got 2 or 3 songs in. I missed Short Fiction's set. I believe Jack Swing went a little long, but it was a rockin' set, so it was all good. And I think Soda Club played that, but yeah, Jack Swing killed it. It was a good show. I missed Short Fictions, which I've still not seen them live physically, because I went down the street to have a drink with Tim Fitz, which is a perfect segue into the next band I'm going to talk about, Sam Pellegrino. Well, formerly known as Sam Pellegrino, they're now going as Pro Video, which includes Nick Bloom, Tim Fitz, my producer David Beck, and the bassist and string machine Mike Law. Now, they might not be going as Sam Pellegrino anymore, but they're still playing Bait 2 at Chef's off the Stag EP, and that EP means a lot to me because that was released, I think, back in May or June of last year, and for that show, Laurel and I were living in Brooklyn still. We got a megabus, and we went down for one day, played that show, and came back that night to get to work the next day, and it was one of the most rock and roll things I've ever done. I think the Crashlanders from Columbus played that show, Punch Drunk Tagalongs from Cleveland, and String Machine and Sam Pellegrino. It was a great gig, but enough of my blabbering about how much I love those guys. Listen to Bait 2. Such a good song. Oh, and just because they're not playing it live anymore doesn't mean that I'm gonna let male bonding over women die. Listen. Got a couple little sticker wrappers hidden in your jacket pocket. Oh, sorry. So catchy. Never forget. Well, the last band I want to talk about before I actually talk about Resource Body and we get into the Silver Car Crash interview is a band that they turned me on to from the interview, which is Choir, to get into the heavier side of Pittsburgh. Check out this song, Eyelids. This is from a demo they did in 2015, but they also have it on their album they released last year in 2017. Check it out, some cool stuff. And now let's talk about the latest release on Crafted Sounds, Silver Car Crash's Resource Body. 9 tracks of no mush, no gushy bullshit, just post-punky, squealy, guitar solo-y bliss. The first song, Curse of the Pines, I believe Justin sings, and it's all over the place with squealy guitar solos and that post-punk vibe. And then the next song, Medicine, has a real cool Parquet Courts vibe. Connor steps in for vocals. Real groovy song. And then one of my favorite tracks, track 3, just explodes. Primitive Science. Just release this as a single, boys. Everyone should be jamming this song this summer. Check it out. It's good to know rock and roll ain't dead, and that punk's not dead. And if you don't believe me, listen to the second single they released for this album, Change.
What if I see life, do it better? Should I try and change my head? If you want more, I'm so far better. They just put shit to change my life.
It's a really good album. I would love to play the whole thing for you, but honestly, I'd much rather you take your time and listen to it on your own time because it's really good. I'm really happy and excited for what the Silver Car Crash Boys are going to do and are doing. But like I said a few weeks ago, they took the trek up the Butler instead of me taking the trek down to Pittsburgh, which extra brownie points right there. And we sat down and had a real fun conversation, talked over each other a few points, but as Justin looked at me and smirked a week later at a show, said, "You're going to have fun editing that one, aren't you?" They knew what they were doing, and it's a blast. And I'm sure David had a fun time editing it, but it was fun just talking to them, and I'm excited to play more shows. I've only played with them one time. That was with Mighty at Bossing Say. String Machine also played, as well as another favorite Pittsburgh band of mine, Vireo, and I'll be talking about them in another volume here, don't worry. But they're great at what they're doing, great guys, and enough of me gushing about them. Let's just listen to the interview. Enjoy, everybody.
I know, I was gonna say.
How I like to start every interview is I like everybody to introduce themselves and maybe say what you do and I don't know, anything else.
Okay. Well,
We'll start this way.
I'm Connor. I play guitar and vocals.
Awesome.
And do vocals.
You do them?
I'm Justin Bennett. I play guitar and sing some too, and write some lyrics.
Sometimes. I'm Brandon, and I play bass.
You sing
No,
some,
man.
right?
You sing sometimes. You
Yeah,
sing
dude,
sometimes.
Ian knows.
Nah, dude.
I'm Zach and I play the drums, and that's it.
Fellow drummer.
Should we introduce ourselves as our alter egos?
It's already going now.
Oh,
It's
we
too
can
late.
actually, yeah. Let's do it.
Alright, I'm Connor in Car Crash, and I play the chainsaw, and I do vocals also.
I am Johnny Wolfman Bennett Jr., and I just raid villages and hide in the woods. That's what I do.
Is it true?
Yeah.
I'm Brandon, and I lost my car keys.
What was my name again?
Zach.
Dude, you gotta make it up.
badass Zach.
I don't know.
Badass.
Zach the
This is going great.
Zach Attack. No, that's overused though.
Zach Attack. That's
Wow,
a good
Zach. All right. Sorry. Okay.
Hey, I'm all about aliases. And my one band, the Doom Gospel, I'm Uncle Joe.
one. That's awesome. What is it? Dune Gospel?
The Appalachian Doom Gospel.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll see something about that soon.
Sweet.
Cool.
I keep hinting at it with everything.
How many bands are you in?
If you need a banjo
3.
player, let me know.
Silver Car Crash is the first Pittsburgh band
I'm
on
honored.
No Static. I realized it today washing my dishes. I was like, oh shit.
It's an honor.
So
I'm honored. I've
This
watched
is
all
awesome.
these.
thank you. I've watched them too. I have to see if David did a good job. No, it wouldn't be nothing without David. But you guys aren't here to talk about the podcast that you're being interviewed on. That's weird a little bit. You're here to talk about the new album
Yeah.
and shit. Which I had this whole. I've had it for like 2 weeks in my email. Connor sent it to another Connor.
Mm-hmm. We know the other Connor. Yeah.
You know.
He's actually in our band.
Connor.
now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about that
Yeah.
first.
That's not true.
No?
yeah,
See, I'm a very gullible person.
Same here. They tried to tell me that this building down the street was like what they based some building in Jurassic Park on, and I
No,
believe
they
it.
based the movie
defi- they
Jurassic Park
definitely do
off
that.
of that building.
No, you
In
didn't.
Butler?
Yeah.
The entire
It's a big yellow building.
Yeah,
I don't
are you
know what
serious?
it's called.
the
Yeah, Zach-
screenplay was
Zach-
written about
Penn
it.
United Technologies.
Really though?
Yeah.
Are you
Penn
serious?
United out on 356?
Yep.
Is it-
Wait,
yeah.
so that's for real?
How did they base that movie off of that?
Dude, tell them what you saw when
I
you
know
went for the
people own
interview.
that. Kinda. I know them.
Tell them what you saw.
Did you see eggs growing in
Saw
tubes?
They had the DNA vials everywhere. And,
Oh wow.
You know, the long lab coats and
They're growing pig people,
Insane, dude.
circle glasses,
animal hybrids.
and gray beards. You know,
Don't
like
trust
the,
anything.
I think my Aunt Nenny worked.
Ask her.
She was probably having
She
to
has a dinosaur.
execute the failed experiments.
Why were you there, man? Okay, so we'll backtrack to the original question that was going to happen. We'll backtrack a bit more. We'll get back
Wow.
to Connor Murray. We're
Yeah.
I just
What's
listened
the
to the album today. So I have had it for weeks in my email, but I was like, I wanted to sit down and give it a good listen, and my weeks got away from me, and I just binged it before you guys got here, and solid
Thanks, man.
shit. I'm very excited to talk about it.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
We talked in the back porch in Oakland about you guys did it live, analog, right?
Not on analog,
Not on
unfortunately.
analog.
I
We did it
wish.
live. That's okay. I was, again.
If we had the budget, man,
too expensive.
I'd do it all on tape if I could.
hmm
Because we don't fix anything in the mix, you know. Like if it's bad, we have to redo it.
Ah,
play
that's
it again.
what.
Yeah.
That's what it was. You're talking about how like
We cut it live
we
though.
do, we do like 2 takes and then just choose the better one.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
I wish we could have one take
it's-
but
Pretty impressive that it's live. Like it doesn't.
yeah.
There's some cool shit going on. I'm just saying. The
We've
guy
been
who
playing
listens
it.
to you can fucking say
My
no,
thing.
man. Whatever.
Well, no. Well,
Yeah, it's
you know what?
interesting.
I was just thinking like Steve Albini, like Steve Albini, he's the guy who recorded like the Pixies or like Surfer Rosa, he
Mhm.
recorded like In Utero.
Mm-hmm.
And like he'd always make them play live, you know, and with minimal overdubs, you know, and try to do it exactly how they do it live. And I was really kind of taking inspiration from that guy when we were recording. Like, you know, for instance, he would like far micing the vocals. Like when we did the vocals, you know, we wanted to get like that clangy, metallic, raftery yell.
Sounds like it's recorded in a
Yeah.
basement
Mhm.
because it was.
And it's like, you know, I wanted to get that, and we did the best we could doing that kind of stuff. So we like minimal effects. I mean, like we use pedals and guitars and whatever, but you know, like don't add reverb to things, don't EQ that many things. Like you know, try to EQ almost as little things as possible.
Kept them
And,
still-
yeah, it's about getting it right the first
Yeah,
time.
there's like a bunch of songs where I just mess up and just
Yeah.
we leave it.
That's like the essence, like, you know, that's the feeling.
Like the first song, I mess up on the transition, and we just
Yeah.
left it.
If it was perfect, it would not sound the way it does.
It's very cosmic that you guys bring that up because I was just interviewing Jay Canner of Denora yesterday, and he
Okay.
was talking about how like when he's a music producer, we were like in his studio, and he was like, when you're recording, like, you should do it like quick. Like,
Yeah.
don't draw it out. Like do it.
No,
in
it's
the
like in a
moment,
shot
like,
espresso.
when it's- There was a rapper one time who said like if I don't record the song like an hour after I wrote it, it's like not worth.
Really?
It might have been Earl Sweatshirt. I'm not.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Wasn't
I know
like-
Danny Brown does everything in one take. Just
Or
super
maybe it was
cool.
Danny Brown.
Could have been Danny.
But this is
Two
very
favorites.
interesting. Like that's how you get the best work. Any
Right.
song, like every song that people really love of mine,
You gotta get
I wrote
fresh.
that in a minute.
Yeah,
No,
for sure.
you gotta get
First-
it fresh.
Yeah, first thoughts
Like
and
you know, like
gut
you know,
feelings.
we're the coffee thing. It's like you know, like you can't let an espresso shot just sit in the little cup. You know,
Yeah.
it's the instant it comes out of the spigot, you gotta drink it. You
Yeah.
know, that's like how like getting recordings go.
It's getting bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we use
and I've gotten
coffee
bitter over
metaphors.
songs.
We use
Yeah,
coffee
for sure.
metaphors.
We
to
also use
describe
lots of
it.
coffee to make it.
Yeah.
I made a
When we
lot
made our
of
demo-
coffee today.
We drank like a pot each when we made our first demo, like a year or two ago.
First demo, dude.
Just pot after pot.
Yeah, I
Things have
remember that
changed since
really
then.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long have you guys been a band?
2
And
Almost
like,
2
how
years.
did you become a band? 2 years?
Yeah.
Well, Justin, I met a kid at my school who asked me to play with he and Justin. Justin and he and I then disbanded, and then I saw Justin at a show at Mr. Small's, and
Deer
I was
Hunter.
like, yeah, I was like, yo, like if you, because I'm a drummer, you know,
That deer hunter or the other deer hunter?
the other Deer Hunter.
That's okay, they're dope.
But I was like, if you ever want me to play drums on anything, whatever, just let me know. Like, I have no, harsh feelings, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, he came up and he was like, play guitar in this band.
Yeah, because like, yeah, the one first band, you know, like it just the one whole slew of people. Like my sister's trying to play bass on it too, and it's just nobody was free, you know. And then I just banded that thing, and then saw him later at the Deer Hunter thing. Also amazing show, amazing band, and yeah, worked out that way. And then we knew
I was also at
they
the Deer Hunter
knew.
show.
Were you? That's so crazy.
Yeah, I was at that show.
Wow, I didn't
That's
know that.
amazing.
Yeah,
The first
band
one.
you
I
was
texted you that day.
Mr. Smalls. Yeah.
And Zach grew up in the same town as Connor,
Yeah.
and
town was
his
that?
brother.
Burl, Lower Burl.
Mm.
So yeah, I
Up
asked
28.
Zach and his brother Zach's brother Josh played bass for a while.
For a bit.
Yeah, and then Josh had to go to school in Erie, and we were just like, well, I don't want you like driving here on weeknights and stuff and having to like deal with that. So now Brandon.
Yeah, and Brandon learned our songs before he met us.
Yeah.
Or he might already know Connor, I think, maybe, but it was so wild. So that's fun.
Yeah, Brandon rips.
But
But you all recorded on the album.
The first demo is them three. And
Is
his
Josh.
brother.
Oh, and then everything.
And then after that is
Josh
me.
is a bit different of a bass player. Like, he's a little bit less rock and a little more in the pocket. You know, kind of, I don't know, less guitar-like, you know?
Mm.
He's like one of those almost purist bass players,
Ah, I got you.
you know?
Fingers.
Yeah, fingers.
Brandon does fingers.
Brandon fingers, too.
I figure a lot of things.
I didn't mean it that way, but,
Whoa.
I
Do you have a bell?
thing. Oh, no,
I
Kevin.
would love to have a bell.
Like a gavel.
I'm trying to
Let's
think
all
of
talk about our favorite bell sounds.
I
But-
like one.
But I know, like the album we've been gigging on those songs for months, so like it was easier to, you know, we kind of been hardened players of those songs already before we recorded it, and it still took us like since October we started recording it, and then just on and off. We couldn't get more than 2 hours at a time to be in the same room together. You know, we managed to play a lot of shows in the fall, but like honestly, we barely practiced, and we like never recorded,
Yeah.
and it took us till what, late January to finish recording,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's so interesting because I always imagined like the hardest part about being in a band or something would be like coming up with like material, you know. But like the hardest part
spews
is
out of
definitely
us.
just
Being
like,
together in
figuring
a
out
room.
schedules. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
We can just
it's
churn
so,
out
like,
songs all
it's
day, and
just-
they're all
it's
awesome.
insane. Yeah,
Oh.
like every practice we have, we pretty much have no ideas, but we can't get together that often, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get it being in 3 bands, full-time
for
job,
sure.
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Sure.
Like Dilly K, every time he's like at string machine practice, I'm like, how do you do all this? Or
He does
if I see him
everything.
outside of practice or a game, I'm like, why?
Yeah,
DK.
it's like really far away,
And he's
right?
always around. He's doing everything
Damn.
all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty
And-
wild.
Call him
And he
that.
like calls me and
Does he
says,
have
"How
a
you
job?
doing, man? Yeah, I don't know, just want to talk to you." I'm like, how do you have the time?
Right.
No, it might be like my sister. She like just doesn't. My sister just doesn't work. I mean,
Yeah.
she's busy, but like she just has fun all the time. I'm like, and her friends are always having fun all the time. I'm like, heck to you people. Like, how do you do?
What are some of the themes of Resource Body, if there are any?
I can name some things that were influential to me, at least as far as the songs I wrote.
Okay.
I was reading a lot poetry, namely poetry that was like of the romanticism, decadence, symbolism, that kind of era. And then we got a song called Illuminations, which is like, that's the name of a book by Rimbaud, you know. And
Who's Rimbaud?
he's like a poet, like a French guy. He finished writing all his poems before he was like 19. Then he just quit poetry. But he made a whole bunch of great poems. Like his book, Season Hell, is my favorite. But anyways, reading a bunch of that, I was, I know this is such a stupid, like, hipster stereotype, but I was watching Twin Peaks a lot, getting some lyrical themes off of that. Listening to a lot of black metal. Like, it was all just, like, dark, gothy, like, horror, romanticism. Like, honestly, I was just being like a goth for a year when I wrote most of the
Alright.
songs.
It's
You know what I
all-
mean?
I hear it.
Yeah, it's all dark, I think. I think all the subject matters are. Except the second song. The second song I wrote about a dream, and it was like a beautiful dream.
Yeah.
But everything else, I think, is pretty like
Self-loathing.
anxious.
Yeah,
so-
Anxiety,
Yeah.
feeling dehumanized,
Yeah,
feeling
The last-
like a robot or an animal
Yeah.
rather than a person.
for sure. And then I don't know. Like the last song, I
Paranoia.
think breaks away from that a bit. But it's like transcendent.
But I'd say that even when our lyrics are like miserable and sad, that we want to sound stoically sad or heroically sad and not whiny. Like I want to be sad without any self-pity.
Yeah, I don't want any pity.
I don't want to feel bad for myself at all, and I want it to sound triumphant. And I want it to sound very rock and roll. Like we don't really use much minor chords because I think minor chords aren't rock and roll. You know, like Chuck Berry didn't use minor chords. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Like-
I realized he was
Like
so
Sex
rock and
Pistols
roll.
didn't use minor chords. You know, like you gotta
Major all day.
major for days. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like even
Forget
when
a
it's supposed to
minor
be a
key.
minor, we'll just go to a major.
I love it. Well, I mean, like the artwork and everything. Like, it definitely like.
Also, I was ripping off Sonic Youth a lot.
That's okay. A lot of people.
It's a hard thing to. I think it's hard to rip them off, so it's still like worthy of merit.
Yeah. I don't know. We're all freaking mixers and DJs. Like, we're all doing. Everything's been done. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Yeah.
He said great artists steal. Yeah. That one painter.
that's
That one
awesome.
really. That one pretty good painter.
People like wouldn't
But,
show
like-
him his stuff because they'd be afraid that he'd steal it.
I'd
and
say
make
that
it
was
better.
probably. I mean, also just like a sort of, not so much like a concept thing, but just like certain riffs, certain things were born out of necessity of just wanting to sound harder and wanting to just rock really hard.
Yeah, the album isn't really conceptual. It's just like, I think the resource body is just your body, you know, like in what you pull from it, and that's what those songs are.
I think the concepts underneath it reinforce the art rather than the art reinforcing the concepts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the thing itself is the main thing. And anything underlying, any underlying ideas or influences are just there to reinforce the thing itself.
The beast.
Yeah.
I got you.
The body.
And yeah,
The body.
I'd say probably like
I like that. In
the
body.
early Discord bands too really did it for me too. Like on well they weren't on Discord, but you know, like Fugazi, like the early post-hardcore people.
Oh yeah.
Big influence on at least the stuff I wrote,
No, you
the
guys have
riffs I wrote.
very cool like post-punky thing happening where I really want to hear you guys live again where I'm not like freaking out trying to get shit to record.
Yeah.
You guys are playing. I'm like, I'm trying to get. I have a three-man film crew here, and I have a USB mic and a film recorder.
Oh, I didn't realize you were doing that.
And I'm like, David, back to not. I love you, David. I'm sorry. I shouldn't
Yeah.
be talking shit about you, so.
Dude, David Beck sucks.
Man,
No!
what a douchebag!
You know what that dude at Dennis and Nick Temple started doing? They have this thing. They still do it. It's an inside joke. They go, "Yo, Ian," and they all go at the same time. Fuck you.
Oh,
That
man.
happens at shows. It happens in my home. It happens at band practice.
We were just talking about, we were just going to talk shit about String Machine.
Yeah,
The
we're gonna
whole
say
time.
String
We're just
Machine.
be like, man, what a bunch of pose dogs. No, we love you guys. I love playing with you guys.
String Machine is the realest. String
Nah,
Machine
for
is
sure.
wonderful.
Straight up.
Thank you.
Beautiful human.
I just get to dance around and play the trumpet.
It's awesome.
It's always good.
It's fun.
It's so good. The energy's so good.
What are some influences on you, Brandon?
Yeah. The smelling
The sound
on.
The sound of dry laundry.
Dude, I feel that one.
Gee.
And that's the thing. You feel that
Yeah,
one.
it's all. Yeah.
I think the whole album's like a gut feeling too, like, cause I've like never really known how to play guitar, you know, but like I have, yeah, right. It's like that.
Just do it,
You
right?
got better
it's like the musical
exponentially.
sense. What's that?
You like got better faster than like a gremlin grows.
Thanks, Justin.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That means-
Like guitar.
I know, no, like those, no, like the shriekers
Oh,
and
the
trimmers.
Routh
Yeah.
gremlins?
Yeah, you know, like the shriekers and trimmers when they eat something, they just poop out another baby. It's like, that's analogous to how quickly you've learned guitar. That's awesome.
I'm an ordinary person. Did my homework and my lessons. I did everything you wanted. I did everything I
You're from West Virginia?
Yeah, I'm from way out in the
I
middle of
didn't
the
know
woods.
this. Where
Yeah.
are you from?
Philly.
Oh, but then I picked up electric.
All over the place.
I didn't care at all about acoustic. I only, to this day, only have an acoustic so I can write and it not be loud.
Oh.
I mean, there's folk
All
stuff I
play is
appreciate.
acoustic.
But like, when I first played electric, I would tune it. I'd tune it at Open G, and I would just lay in a beanbag chair and listen to the feedback.
The beanbag chair. is
Yeah.
important.
And I'd just sit for hours,
Essential.
and I would just sit for hours with like all the pedals turned on, with my face in front of the like a giant amp, and just sit there and like be meditative and just it's just huge. And that's before I even learned how to play right. And I took some lessons, and then here I am.
Now you play right. So, what do you think of the Pittsburgh music scene? Let's talk about it. So, you already talked about String Machine.
Yeah.
Forget that shit. That's old news. Let's talk
Dude,
about some of your favorite bands in the scene.
Okay.
Where are some of your favorite places? to
Forgive
play?
me, bands, if I don't name you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there has to be
Oh, yeah.
grace.
I'd say my favorites. Oh man, I'll start. First of all, I'll say I love. Well, I guess they're not Sam Pellegrino. I was really loving what Sam Pellegrino was doing,
Oh,
and now they're
Stag,
Pro
what a
Video,
great
and I haven't
idea.
seen them yet, but they're playing a release show,
Yeah, with plus 2.
and
Plus 2 members.
so we'll see how that goes, and
That's exciting.
I'm looking forward.
they have band practice today.
Nice.
I catch it every once in a while. You're gonna like.
Is
what
it
you-
sick?
Choir.
You're gonna like it.
Nice.
Super good.
I love seeing Choir.
Yeah, Choir's
They're scary. Noise rock band.
Dude,
The band-
Denzel's amazing.
The band formerly known as Honey. Now
Zells always
Rave-
awesomely fun.
Rave
We
Ami
played
is-
their name change.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw
we
that.
were-
It's so
we were all
good.
there. Yeah,
Oh,
that was-
really?
That was a rev.
That was so good.
I heard we were really loud.
No,
It's
that's
a good
Oh,
play.
you're
Yeah,
perfect.
okay.
That's good.
Can't be
Sometimes
too
I
loud.
worry we get a little loud. We got yelled at one time in Butler.
Mm.
Actually, right at the Arts Center, this dude came on. He was like, "You guys should." In the middle of our set, he was like, "To David, you should turn down." And David just like looked at Nick, and I was like, "We're gonna be really loud right now."
Yeah.
And I think we played living room, and we just
Oh yeah.
you
That's
couldn't
awesome.
hear anything.
We're trying to just be as loud as we can the next few shows. I don't know, like I actually think there's a lot of whole. I think Pittsburgh's kind of grungy, kind of like nasty and noisy.
Oh, it's
Like,
what
'cause
it
even
should
the
be.
bands-
Still sick.
Even the bands that wouldn't be that grungy are like grungier than they would be if they're from another city. Like even the emo, like even like a normal emo band in Pittsburgh is like gnarlier than another emo band in another city. You know what I'm saying?
Repping Pittsburgh.
Like, well, I'm from the middle of
Making
nowhere,
plans.
and like Morgantown just
Picking up
sucked.
that laundry.
You know, like there's a couple good bands, but they're like not even active now, and it's just like stupid, boring. You know, it's
Yeah.
nothing good. And
Well,
Jake just said we should roll through Morgantown.
yeah, roll through, play 123 Pleasant Street.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I have fond memories of that
I saw
place.
tobacco
Fond
there.
memories. I went there before I was old enough to legally be in there. You know,
Mm.
and you know, False Pterodactyl, great Morgantown band. I don't think they're still around. They had some ones. There's a band called Fuck Your Birthday, which was like math
Said
rock.
Pittsburgh bands.
And yeah, I'm not gonna rep my hometown. I don't even look. I went there last time I was there. I didn't feel like I was from there anymore. You know, like last time I went to Morgantown, I was like, I don't think that I relate to any of these people. It's really weird because before I come back, I'd be like, all these Pittsburgh people are weird, and I'll go back and I'm like, oh look, these I get these people, right? And then now it's like the other way around. It's like I'm starting to talk more like I'm from Pittsburgh, you know, than I did before. It's really bizarre. No, but yeah, I like Pittsburgh. I like. My only thing that bums me out is like, I wish like your Oakland bands and then your like scary ass bands that play like on the other side of town would play shows together more.
Yeah.
Like,
gotta
you know,
get-
like
you gotta get out.
I've been
Until-
trying so
yeah.
hard to break into both sides and ride the fence. I mean, Barlow, another great band, like they kind of do that. Like they play on both sides of town. They play with both kinds of bands, and it's like
Uptown,
we're
downtown,
trying and we're getting to that point where like people like from that side of town are trying to get a hold of us to
Yeah.
do stuff. But like for a
In
long
that
time,
vein.
it's just so sectioned off. And maybe it's an age thing but there's only like a year or two apart. And then maybe it's like just a genre thing, you know.
But Peace Talks is amazing. Concealed Blaze is amazing. Eels from here.
Yeah,
Those
Eel are
Eels
scary and
amazing.
wild.
Those are like heavy wise, nasty wise. Those bands are so
crusty
inspirational.
bands.
Like that energy is unbelievable. You know, like
We try to like channel. We're kind of a wimpy indie rock band, but
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
try to channel hardcore.
for sure.
You know,
I'm in nothing but wouldn't be indie rock.
like we try to like I love that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing it. You know what I'm saying? But like we try to like channel some Black Flag, you know, and channel that when we're playing. And some Stooges. And
And our next guest, Kevin Bacon.
so yeah, and I'm
Welcome.
just planning. We're
Yeah.
planning on trying to bang out another album like in the summer.
Well, yeah, we
Yeah,
plan
well,
on
we're-
doing smaller stuff and then putting out a second LP and just seeing what happens. Just like trying to push what we're doing, trying to push.
Maybe a
things,
mini
push-
tour. Never get comfortable. You know.
Yeah.
I'll never
sure.
be complacent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like when you let slack just for a minute, it destroys you. You know.
Yeah.
It's like I'm such a naturally lazy person. Like I'm disgustingly lazy, and I hate working at all. But like my mentality is the opposite. You know what I mean? Like I'm all about like living almost like a Spartan, where like I have to like straight up like no like I straight up like I gotta take a cold shower. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta get right out of bed. I have to shun comfort because I'm so easily caught up in that. Like I'm so easily lazy. I could just never leave my bed if I didn't make myself. And so like that's kind of how I treat the band.
Discipline.
It's like a disciplined band.
Good.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
we play short shows. We don't jam too much. We just run the song and we're done. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's like a self-control thing.
I think that's so important and also unique. Not like anyone else doesn't do it or something, but having short sets just keeps it interesting. Like if people like us, you know, and they want more, and the set ends, it's like you gotta look for it and like listen to it. You know,
Yeah.
that's.
I remember seeing Show Me the Body play for like less than 20 minutes at a time. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. You know, it works. And the Ramones never played more than 20 minutes. So I mean,
No,
hey,
it's
it works
better
for
to leave
them.
one and more, definitely.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Like I played, me and Laurel, our Project Lem played 40. We tried to do 40 minutes in this bar in Brooklyn one time. I was like, "What am I? No one's paying attention. What am I doing?" I didn't even know any covers. It was all my songs.
Oh yeah.
That's intense, dude.
We should just play Wonderwall for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know any covers.
I remember seeing a video of you saying that somewhere.
Alec.
Yeah.
And then copied the last little blues
How
section.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Alec is the reason this band exists, I think.
Yeah,
Really?
more or less.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sweet person.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I saw him the other day, and I was just so nice. It's nice to know nice people.
Very kind.
It's a nice house of people.
Yeah.
I do like a noise thing with the other guy who lives there, Zach Marburger. We've never had a show on it yet. He used to be in Melancholy Manor, one of the first bands we ever played with. R.I.P. Melancholy Manor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, shouts out to Reality.
I was just gonna say, if anybody wants to listen to a great band that's from Beaver, but like listen to Reality. That's an amazing band.
Reality.
That's the guy who used to
Beaver's
be
got a
Melancholy
little
Man.
scene.
Yeah.
Everybody I know from Beaver is really interesting. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's something in the water up there. Like those
Park,
kids.
cephalopods. There was Primer and Grayscale.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw them.
Yeah, there's a cool little scene up there. Well, Silver Car Crash, thanks for talking to
Silver
me.
car keys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Sorry for being so like all over the
Miss that show.
When I try to realize, it's when I bleed blood on Vanessa.
You know, since this interview, I've talked to my Aunt Nenny, because Easter happened, and she is not aware of any human splicing, Jurassic Park stuff, but maybe she's just in the dark. I don't know about Penn United. Who knows, but if you liked what you heard from Silver Car Crash, go pick up their album from Bandcamp or go to a show and pick up a tape that Crafted Sounds made. Their next show is at Howlers on April 26th at 9 p.m. It looks like it's a 21 plus show and doors are at 9. And it looks like they're playing with Ganser from Chicago, Bloody Knives from Austin, and then Death Instinct and themselves. It's going to be a good show. And if you're into any of the other music I talked about, Alter Boy, Rave Ami, The Zells, Jack Swing, Plastic Idea, or Sam Pellegrino, or Choir, go check them out on Bandcamp. Buy the album. Tell your friend about it. Go like a Facebook page or an Instagram page. Go to a local show. Support your local scene. Mine just happens to be Pittsburgh, and I'm taking 3 episodes to talk about it. But support your local scene. Support the arts in your community. Support this podcast. Thanks so much for listening. You know, I could go on forever, everybody, but thank you, Sweet Static. Thank you, Earthwalk. Thank you, Crafted Sound, Silver Car Crash, for reaching out to me. And thank you, all my listeners. Keep listening. Tell your friends about it. Give us a like on Facebook or Instagram. Give us a follow. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Oh man, I love y'all, and I'm so excited to be here next week for Volume 2 Pittsburgh, which is going to be a real interesting episode. But like Fred Rogers would say, I'm glad you're my neighbor. I'll see you later.
No static. No static.